Today we're going to talk about 10 resources that I wished I knew from day one when I started out with Azure. Let's dive right into it. Microsoft Mechanics is by far the most helpful resources for years for me. A lot of my inspiration for my blogs, for other things, for demos come out of watching these Microsoft Mechanics videos. And what I really love is because they represent all of Microsoft, it's the easiest way for me to stay up to date with really cool things Microsoft is doing in other areas with Microsoft 365 or Dynamics 365. There's so much goodness, but hard to find the time to follow it and do it. But the technical depth of those short videos, it's so great. That's why it's my number one. Then the Azure blog. The Azure blog is a must follow. This is where you get firsthand most regular updates and products and services on Azure. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, subscribe to the RSS feed, but that's definitely a must follow. Twitter is the source. I literally spend daily time on Twitter. I follow lots of people, like most do, but I created a public list that you can subscribe to if you want, with the 35 most influential accounts that are important to me to stay up to date with what is happening in the Azure world. So you just can subscribe to it, but definitely that's where I get a lot of news. Thomas Maurer, besides that he's now a colleague working for Microsoft, but he had a blog long before he joined Microsoft. And the great thing about it is that he really goes in technical depth to really show you how you can basically leverage a technology in your day-to-day world. There's many things that I look up or a tweet that I see from him and I read the blog post and then I try it out. Can also be a source of inspiration for things that I do myself or that I can leverage in presentations. Channel 9 is, for me, almost like a community-driven content creator factory where you have different pieces from engineering, from Microsoft that can use that channel at very low cost, sometimes no cost, and create your own videos to bring news out. And while the focus was mainly on developer, they produce great shows that you should check out, like Azure Fridays, for example, which is every Friday there's going to be a new video. I add this to the Channel 9 because it comes out of the Channel 9 studios, but that's just one of the good shows that is running on this platform and you want to make sure you check them out. The documentation on Azure Docs, azure.com is mind-blowing. It really is. You wouldn't believe how much work goes into it from the side of Microsoft, but also the community that contributes to it. There is reference architecture, there is manual, there is even a learning platform that takes you through different learning paths. There is a treasure trove of information right there. In fact, sometimes when I get questions from friends like, oh, I have this problem or I have that problem, often I myself find the answer to that challenge that they face on documentations and just send them simply the docs link and they can take it from there. So if you haven't checked it out, you definitely want to go and check out this website and you will find a lot of things you wanted to know about Azure and how to use it and how to do it. GitHub is similar to Docs, but obviously more developers are often familiar with GitHub, but it's changing. More and more IT pros also go down that road. But there is a collection of tips and tricks that you need to subscribe to. It's very regularly updated. You can search it. You can also contribute to it if there is a tips or trick that you may use and the community doesn't know. Definitely a must use as well. And then we have the first party events like Ignite and Build. And while it's hard maybe to attend them if you work somewhere outside of the United States, you still should watch the keynote, and if you can watch it live, watch the recording, because we all know it's on these two big events where we make the most announcement, that's for sure. But the good news is there is also now an Ignite tour, and I think this year they're going to stop in 32 cities. So you want to check out their website and see if there's a stop in your city. It's free of charge. And I promise you, you will learn a lot that is not just for the future, but also applicable in the now. So go check out if there's a stop and attend. And then there's more and more virtual events. Why virtual events? Sometimes I ask myself, how many virtual events did I attend? I like in person, I think we all do. But the beautiful thing about virtual event is, besides the fact that you can watch it on your time, it's for us here at Microsoft the easiest vehicle to make something very scalable that we can bring to the whole world. If we say we make an event or a roadshow and we get a budget for 7 cities, then it's those 7 cities that we go to. If we do a virtual event, we put the same efforts with engineering, with product news, with everything that goes into it as we do for physical events. We treat them as tier 1 events, but we can easily scale them across the globe and use them in that manner. So most teams now do virtual events, so you want to make sure you check that out. You can do that either on azure.com, or if you subscribe to the newsletter or follow us on social media, you will hear about it. And I definitely can recommend that you check them out. In fact, there is going to be a hybrid virtual event. It's not yet public available to register for it, but it's going to come as we did last year for the first time. So you want to make sure you follow me, and once I tweet about it, you can sign up right away. And even though we talked about Twitter, there's this one Twitter handle called @AzureSupport. Mind-blowing. It really is. The fact is, anything public knowledge, like public available information that you can't find. You did your web search, you went to docs, you searched YouTube, whatever it is you do, but you couldn't find it. Before you give up, ask that support handle. It's unbelievable what they do. I just tested it today again. I asked what is the best way to migrate a VM from AWS to Azure, and within a minute they replied to me with the links to the docs website where everything is described step by step. So before you give up, check out, send them a direct message, and you will be surprised how fast they respond. So with that, I conclude my today's episode. I hope these 10 resources are as helpful to you as they are to me, but I do want to hear from you. What are the resources you use in your day-to-day life to stay up to date with Microsoft? And what would you like to hear more from? So please leave me comments, let me know, ping me, help me down on any of the social medias you follow me, and then let me know what I should add to my list, or what I should check out for sure. And with that, I want to say thank you very much. Enjoy your day and much of success with these resources for your career.